In Genesis chapters 22 through 24, you witness the profound faith of Abraham when God tests him by asking for his son Isaac as a sacrifice. Your heart may tremble at such a test, yet the Lord's provision of a ram in place of Isaac speaks of divine mercy and provision. These chapters also narrate the quest for a wife for Isaac, leading to the faithful selection of Rebekah. Here, you see God's guidance in life's significant decisions and the unfolding of His promises through generations. As you reflect on these passages, consider the depth of your own faith. How would you respond to God's challenging requests and His guidance in your life's pivotal moments? This introspection invites you to trust in the Lord's plans, even when they are beyond your understanding. Lord, strengthen my faith and trust in your divine plan. Guide me in my decisions, large and small, in Jesus' name. Amen. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Genesis chapter 22. It happened after these things that God tested Abraham and said to him, Abraham, he said, Here I am. He said, Now take your son, your only son, whom you love, Isaac, and go into the land of Moriah. Offer him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains, which I will tell you about. Abraham rose early in the morning, saddled his donkey, and took 2 of his young men with him and Isaac, his son. He split the wood for the burnt offering and rose up and went to the place of which God had told him. On the 3rd day, Abraham lifted his eyes and saw the far-off place. Abraham said to his young men, Stay here with the donkey. The boy and I will go over there. We will worship and come back to you. Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it on Isaac, his son. He took in his hand the fire and the knife. They both went together. Isaac spoke to Abraham, his father, and said, My father, he said. Here I am, my son. He said, Behold the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering? Abraham said, God will provide himself the lamb for a burnt offering, my son. So they both went together. They came to the place which God had told him of. Abraham built the altar there, laid the wood in order, bound Isaac his son, and laid him on the altar on the wood. Abraham stretched out his hand and took the knife to kill his son. The angel of Yahweh called to him out of the sky and said, Abraham, Abraham. He said, Here I am. He said, Don't lay your hand on the boy, neither do anything to him. For now I know that you fear God, since you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me. Abraham lifted his eyes and saw that behind him was a ram caught in the thicket by his horns. Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering instead of his son. Abraham called the name of that place Jehovah-Jireh. As it is said to this day, On Yahweh's mountain it will be provided. The angel of Yahweh called to Abraham a second time out of the sky and said, I have sworn by myself, says Yahweh, because you have done this thing, and have not withheld your son, your only son, that I will bless you greatly, and I will multiply your offspring as the stars of the sky, and as the sand which is on the seashore. Your offspring will possess the gate of his enemies. In your offspring will all the nations of the earth be blessed, because you have obeyed my voice. So Abraham returned to his young men, and they rose up and went together to Beersheba. Abraham lived in Beersheba. It happened after these things that it was told Abraham, saying, Behold, Milcah, she also has borne children to your brother Nahor, Uz his firstborn, Buz his brother, Kemuel, the father of Aram, Chest, Hazo, Pildash, Jidlaph, and Bethuel. Bethuel became the father of Rebekah. These 8 Milcah bore to Nahor, Abraham's brother. His concubine, whose name was Reumah, also bore Tebah, Gaham, Tahash, and Maacah. Genesis chapter 23. Sarah lived 127 years. This was the length of Sarah's life. Sarah died in Kiriath Arba, also called Hebron, in the land of Canaan. Abraham came to mourn for Sarah and to weep for her. Abraham rose up from before his dead and spoke to the sons of Heth, saying, I am a stranger and a sojourner with you. Give me a possession of a burial plot with you, that I may bury my dead out of my sight. The children of Heth answered Abraham, saying to him, Hear us, my lord. You are a prince of God among us. Bury your dead in the best of our tombs. None of us will withhold from you his tomb. Bury your dead. Abraham rose up and bowed down to the people of the land, the children of Heth. He talked with them, saying, If you are willing that I should bury my dead out of my sight, hear me, and entreat for me to Ephron the son of Zohar, that he may give me the cave of Machpelah, which he has, which is at the end of his field. For the full price, let him give it to me among you for a possession of a burial plot. Now Ephron was sitting among the children of Heth. Ephron the Hittite answered Abraham in the audience of the children of Heth, even of all who went in at the gate of his city, saying, No, my lord, hear me. I give you the field, and I give you the cave that is in it. In the presence of the sons of my people, I give it to you. Bury your dead. Abraham bowed himself down before the people of the land. He spoke to Ephron in the audience of the people of the land, saying, But if you will, please hear me. I will give the price of the field. Take it from me, and I will bury my dead there. Ephron answered Abraham, saying to him, My lord, listen to me. What is a piece of land that is 400 shekels of silver between me and you? Therefore bury your dead. Abraham listened to Ephron. Abraham weighed to Ephron the silver, which he had named in the audience of the sons of Heth, 400 shekels of silver, current money with the merchant. So the field of Ephron, which was in Machpelah, which was before Mamre, the field and the cave which was in it, and all the trees that were in the field, that were in all its borders around, were deeded to Abraham for a possession in the presence of the children of Heth, before all who went in at the gate of his city. After this, Abraham buried Sarah, his wife, in the cave of the field of Machpelah, before Mamre, also called Hebron, in the land of Canaan. The field and the cave that is in it were deeded to Abraham by the children of Heth as a possession for a burial place. Genesis chapter 24. Now Abraham was old, well advanced in age. Yahweh had blessed Abraham in all things. Abraham said to his servant, the elder of his house, who ruled over all that he had, Please put your hand under my thigh. I will make you swear by Yahweh, the God of heaven and the God of the earth, that you shall not take a wife for my son of the daughters of the Canaanites among whom I live, but you shall go to my country and to my relatives, and take a wife for my son Isaac. The servant said to him, What if the woman isn't willing to follow me to this land? Must I bring your son again to the land you came from? Abraham said to him, Beware that you don't bring my son there again. Yahweh, the God of heaven, who took me from my father's house and from the land of my birth, who spoke to me and who swore to me, saying, I will give this land to your offspring. He will send his angel before you, and you shall take a wife for my son from there. If the woman isn't willing to follow you, then you shall be clear from this my oath. Only you shall not bring my son there again. The servant put his hand under the thigh of Abraham, his master, and swore to him concerning this matter. The servant took 10 of his master's camels and departed, having all kinds of his master's goods in his hand. He arose and went to Mesopotamia, to the city of Nahor. He made the camels kneel outside the city by the well of water in the evening, the time that women go out to draw water. He said, Yahweh, the God of my master Abraham, please give me success this day and show kindness to my master Abraham. Behold, I stand by the well of water. The daughters of the men of the city are coming out to draw water. Let it happen that the young woman to whom I will say, Please, let down your pitcher, that I may drink. And she will say, Drink, and I will also give your camels a drink. Let her be the one you have appointed for your servant Isaac. By this I will know that you have shown kindness to my master. Before he had finished speaking, behold, Rebekah came out, who was born to Bethuel, the son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother, with her pitcher on her shoulder. The young woman was very beautiful to look upon, a virgin. No man had known her. She went down to the spring, filled her pitcher, and came up. The servant ran to meet her and said, Please give me a little water from your pitcher to drink. She said, Drink, my lord. She hurried and let down her pitcher on her hand and gave him a drink. When she had done giving him a drink, she said, I will also draw for your camels until they have done drinking. So she hurried and emptied her pitcher into the trough and ran again to the well to draw and drew for all his camels. The man, gazing at her, remained silent to know whether Yahweh had made his journey prosperous or not. When the camels had done drinking, the man took a golden ring of 1/2 shekel weight and 2 bracelets for her hands of 10 shekel weight of gold, and said, Whose daughter are you? Please tell me, is there room in your father's house for us to lodge in? She said to him, I am the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Milcah, whom she bore to Nahor. She said moreover to him, We have both straw and feed enough and room to lodge in. The man bowed down his head and worshipped Yahweh. He said, Blessed be Yahweh, the God of my master Abraham, who has not forsaken his loving kindness and his truth toward my master. As for me, Yahweh has led me on the way to the house of my master's brothers. The young woman ran and told her mother's house about these things. Rebekah had a brother, and his name was Laban. Laban ran out to the man, to the spring. When he saw the ring and the bracelets on his sister's hands, and when he heard the words of Rebekah, his sister, saying, This is what the man said to me, he came to the man. Behold, he was standing by the camels at the spring. He said, Come in, you who are blessed by Yahweh. Why do you stand outside? For I have prepared the house and room for the camels. The man came into the house, and he unloaded the camels. He gave straw and feed for the camels and water to wash his feet and the feet of the men who were with him. Food was set before him to eat. But he said, I will not eat until I have told my errand. He said, Speak on. He said, I am Abraham's servant. Yahweh has blessed my master greatly, and he has become great. He has given him flocks and herds, silver and gold, male servants and female servants, camels and donkeys. Sarah, my master's wife, bore a son to my master when she was old. He has given all that he has to him. My master made me swear, saying, You shall not take a wife for my son of the daughters of the Canaanites, in whose land I live, but you shall go to my father's house and to my family, and take a wife for my son. I asked my master, What if the woman will not follow me? He said to me, Yahweh, before whom I walk, will send his angel with you and prosper your way. You shall take a wife for my son, my family, and my father's house. Then you will be clear from my oath when you come to my family. If they don't give her to you, you will be clear from my oath. Today I came to the spring and said, Yahweh, the God of my master Abraham, if now you prosper my way which I go, behold, I stand by the spring of water. Let it happen that the maiden who comes out to draw, to whom I will say, Please give me a little water from your pitcher to drink, and she will tell me, Drink, and I will also draw for your camels. Let her be the woman whom Yahweh has appointed for my master's son. Before I had finished speaking in my heart, Rebekah came out with her pitcher on her shoulder. She went down to the spring and drew. I said to her, Please let me drink. She hurried, lifted her pitcher from her shoulder, and said, Drink, and I will also give your camels a drink. So I drank, and she also gave the camels a drink. I asked her and said, Whose daughter are you? She said, The daughter of Bethuel, Nahor's son, whom Milcah bore to him. I put the ring on her nose and the bracelets on her hands. I bowed my head, worshipped Yahweh, and blessed Yahweh, the God of my master Abraham, who had led me in the right way to take my master's brother's daughter for his son. Now if you will deal kindly and truly with my master, tell me. If not, tell me that I may turn to the right hand or to the left. Then Laban and Bethuel answered, The thing proceeds from Yahweh. We can't speak to you, bad or good. Behold, Rebekah is before you. Take her and go, and let her be your master's son's wife, as Yahweh has spoken. When Abraham's servant heard their words, he bowed himself down to the earth to Yahweh. The servant brought out jewels of silver, jewels of gold, and clothing, and gave them to Rebekah. He also gave precious things to her brother and to her mother. They ate and drank, he and the men who were with him, and stayed all night. They rose up in the morning, and he said, Send me away to my master. Her brother and her mother said, Let the young woman stay with us a few days, at least 10. After that she shall go. He said to them, Don't hinder me, seeing Yahweh has prospered my way. Send me away that I may go to my master. They said, We will call the young woman and ask her. They called Rebekah and asked her, Will you go with this man? She said, I will go. They sent Rebekah, their sister, her nurse, Abraham's servant, and his men away. They blessed Rebekah and said to her, Our sister, may you be the mother of thousands of 10,000, and let your offspring possess the gate of those who hate them. Rebekah arose with her maids. They rode on the camels and followed the man. The servant took Rebekah and went his way. Isaac came from the way of Beer-lahai-roi, for he lived in the south. Isaac went out to meditate in the field in the evening. He lifted up his eyes and saw, and behold, there were camels coming. Rebekah lifted up her eyes, and when she saw Isaac, she dismounted from the camel. She said to the servant, Who is the man who is walking in the field to meet us? The servant said, It is my master. So she took her veil and covered herself. The servant told Isaac all the things that he had done. Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent, and took Rebekah, and she became his wife. He loved her. Isaac was comforted after his mother's death.